excited. The fans are excited. We are going to see a good football game.
I think this is what football's all about. Thanksgiving Day in the heart of America, right here in New Providence today. I think we've got a good one in line for ourselves today. The conference championship, as you said, and a lot of good football players present here this morning.
Let's look at a comparison between the respective teams so far on the season. Summit is 8-1. New Providence is 7-1 in the season. You see Summit's offense has been explosive. 264 points scored, 76 allowed. New Providence, on the other hand, has only scored 123. Their offense coming on more explosively lately in the contest. They have allowed 70 on the season. Rushing yardage, Summit over 2,000. New Providence just over 1,000 yards. Passing yardage about the same so far this season. But the big story is that New Providence's ace running back, Mike Romeo, will not play this afternoon. He has rushed for over 700 yards on the season, but he is nursing a broken ankle. Maybe he'll be back for the state playoffs, maybe not. How will that change this New Providence offense?
Well, the other people in this backfield are going to have to pick up the slack. You figure this now, with Mike out, they've lost 40 to 45% of their total offense, both in return yardage, passing receptions, and running attack. So Tom Roberson is going to be the key today in picking up the yardage with the passing game.
Summit is what you might call a big play team. Robert Askew all season long has provided 60, 70, 80-yard touchdown runs. Chris Brodman has been able to look to either side, throw to Jerry Hunt, throw to Robert Askew. But one other name has really been a surprise this year. He's been the most consistent performer in that backfield. His name, Duff Badgley.
Duff has been number 2 in everything in total offense for Summit this year. He has scored 9 TDs. He's rushed for a 5.3 average. And if New Providence tries to stop the one back in Askew, you're going to find Badgley have a big day.
Is this Summit team what you might call a team that on any play can go all the way for a touchdown?
That's right. They're a big play team. They've always been that way. They seem to be impatient offensively, don't like to grind it out. They'll take a big one and score it at any time during the ball game.
New Providence, traditionally a running football team, but as I mentioned, with Romeo injured, it will be young junior signal caller Tom Robertson who will have to bring up the slack.
Well, Tom is a good passer. He's passed for about 57% pass average. He's done a fine job. He throws play-action passes, and as the season's progressed, he's cut down on the interceptions, and he's picked up on the completions. He should have a good day here today, I hope.
The two football coaches are veteran coaches. Howie Anderson in season number 25 at Summit High School, Frank Battone in campaign number 13 for the New Providence Pioneers. Earlier today, I asked both head coaches what the meaning of this football game has to them and their clubs.
How important is the game to us? There couldn't be a more important game. We do have a game following this against the defending champions in Group 3 Rawway, but to Summit High School and Summit football and Summit fans, this is the game that's most important. The conference championship rests on it, as well as bragging rights for the area. So as far as importance, there is no more important game.
Okay, we're looking forward to this game. Right now, we're 6-0 in the conference, and Summit has to beat us to win to get a tie. So our kids are going all out. We had no celebration that we are conference champs. We played it low-key. This is the football game we want right now. We're not thinking ahead to the playoffs, playing Madison on Tuesday. This is it. Thanksgiving Day, traditional rival, and a year of bragging for the local two teams.
Frank Battone of the New Providence Pioneers going for victory number 100 this afternoon. Howie Anderson going for victory 149. Summit and New Providence, what a Thanksgiving Day rivalry. Dick and I will be back with the opening kickoff in just a moment. Afternoon in the Suburban Conference for the Pass SNET rule. Madison reeling off consecutive victories, number 31 and 33 this year, before Summit defeated them in their quest for 34 and their quest to become the all-time winning school in the state of New Jersey. But Summit High School under Howie Anderson was up to the task, and this afternoon they'll have a chance for the share of the conference title. Of course, if New Providence wins today, they will win that title outright. Let's check the officials for this afternoon's game. Your referee is Ed Lynch, umpire Rich DeVito. Head linesman is Bob Crum. The field judge is Harold Lesser. The back judge, Phil DiDomenico. And there's a look at Ed Lynch. The captain's walking out to the center of the field. For the Summit Hilltoppers, number 50 is Mark Ford, number 34, Jerry Hunt. And for New Providence, Jim D'Arienzo and Mike Romeo. Let's listen in to referee Ed Lynch.
All right, fellas, if we have a foul, I'll explain the options to you. If you don't understand them, I'll repeat them. Make sure your choices, though, because that's going to count. Let me introduce the other officials. Mr. Club will be the head linesman. Mr. DeVito, the umpire. Mr. Lesser, the line judge. Mr. DiDomenico, the field judge. He has the official time, gentlemen. The scoreboard is not official. We have a football player. Football player is a head, flag is a tail. Football player is a head, flag is a tail. For the visitors, who's going to start? In the air, please. Tails. Tails. We need a flag. We have a flag. Summit is your choice. Receive. Which goal will you defend, gentlemen? Put your backs to your goals, please. Summit toss and receive.
Summit will receive and defend the south goal.
So the Summit Hilltoppers will get the football first. And Dick, they're an explosive club. A couple of times this year they've returned punts and kickoffs for touchdowns.
I hate to see their backs with the ball in the opening kickoff. I hope they squib the ball if the New Providence people want to keep from getting getting good field position. This will be the key today, field position. The New Providence defense must keep Summit deep in the hole so they can take advantage and have short scoring drives, but still be able to control the clock and the ball.
And now at Leader Field, New Providence High School Marching Band will play our national anthem.
Gentlemen, please rise for the raising of our flag at the north end of the field as our band plays our national anthem.
So the Hilltoppers and the Pioneers getting last-minute instructions from their coaches. And a lot of strange people walking around the crowd this afternoon. Thanksgiving Day, always a lot of fun. But that is serious right there. Coach Frank Battone talking to his Pioneers. And Coach Howie Anderson's last-minute instructions for the Hilltoppers. Summit will receive. They will defend the goal to our right. Summit with the white top and the yellow pads. New Providence will kick off, defend the goal to our left. They are with the green top and also with the yellow pads. And Clay Fenimore, number 17, set to kick off for New Providence. Fenimore's had quite a season. If there is a difference in the kicking game, I would say that New Providence does have a little bit of an advantage.
I think they do. They have a strong kicker in Fenimore, and also the punter Robertson is a real fine job for them all year.
Duff Badgley, Robert Askew drop back deep. For the Hilltoppers, Askew, of course, the burner. Not clocked in the 100 as of yet, but I would imagine under 10 seconds. Thanksgiving Day 1980. Suburban Conference Showdown, here we go. Fenimore hits it high. Badgley at the 9. Fakes the reverse, carries down the right side. Badgley across the 30, across the 40-yard line. Finally tripped up. An excellent pickup by Duff Badgley. Good field position for the Hilltoppers. Let's check that offense up front. Bruce DeCesar, Mark Ford, left side. Center is Owen Dunn. Right guard, Greg Tyler. Right tackle, Ed Tamalanka. Two receivers, the tight end, and he's done a whale of a job all season long, Rob Bradle. Split end, Mike Serino. Quarterback, second year with the club, Chris Broadman. The fullback, Big Jerry Hunt. And the halfbacks, Badgley and Askew. 41-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Hilltoppers. Jerry Hunt is hit on the right side of the line, maybe picked up a yard. Mark Cleese was there to make the stop. Let's check that 5-2-4 Pioneer defense. Left side, Steve Anderson, Larry Mazzacca, nose man Mike Coviello. The right side, Jim D'Arienzo and Mark Cleese. 3 linebackers, rather 2. It's Doug Pastore and Pat Kenny on the outside. And in the secondary, your cornerbacks are Tom Martyr and Nick Mancia. The free safety, Steve Joe behind the strong safety, Steve Paradise. Once again, Mike Romeo, usually starting back there at strong safety, but he is also out of action defensively today. 2nd down, 9 yards to go for Summit. Inside handoff, Askew gets 4 yards on the play. Hit by the middle of that line. Mike Coviello there with some help from Pat Kenny, the right linebacker.
On both offensive plays so far, Summit has set up in a double wing, and they've motioned, the first play they motioned Askew and ran the belly series off of that for not much gain. The second play, they motioned Badgley and came with Askew on a counter.
3rd and 5. Ball on the 49-yard line of New Providence. Brodman, first pass of the day, looks to the outside, throws complete to Serino. 1st down for the Hilltoppers. And when Brodman does throw, he usually throws short out patterns or passes just in front of the linebackers, and it's good for a Summit 1st down.
He was open on that play. We see him drop here, set up, get good feet under him, throw fine to the flat, and the coverage just couldn't keep up with him, and a good pass route by Serino.
At the 41 of New Providence, 1st and 10 for the Hilltoppers. Askew sweeping the right side, puts his head down, gets maybe 2 or 3 yards. Doug Pastore was there to make the stop with some help from Larry Mazzacca.
They went from the I formation with Robert Askew as the tailback that time, and Duff Badgley was on the right wing back and lead blocker for him.
There's Frank Patone, 13th year as head coach of the Pioneers. If he wins today, it will be a sweet victory, number 100 in his career. Askew picked up 4. It will be 2nd down and 6 for the Hilltopper. Askew motion left. They give us to Badgley on a counter. Duff gets maybe 2 yards on the play. Hit was made by Doug Pastore, and on the bottom of that pile, Steve Anderson, the left end, who goes 6'1", 173 pounds. Just a junior, Dick, but we saw him again in the ball game against Milburn. What an outstanding job he did.
Yes, he did. He's a big, strong kid, and he does a real fine job for them at defensive end. It's the key to that type of defense they play.
3rd and 4. Brodman rolling to his left. Running out of the pocket, overthrows Serino. And heavy pressure came from Steve Paradise, the strong safety. It will bring up a 4th and 4 situation.
On that play, it's unusual to see them blitz the free safety, but he had nobody to cover. There was only one receiver released on that side of the formation, so he had nobody to cover any pressure.
So with the ball resting just outside the 40-yard line, 4th and 4. And let's see if the Hilltoppers punt it away. Mike Reardon checking into the ball game, so he indeed will punt it away. Dropping back deep for New Providence is Steve Paradise. Reardon hits it, bounces at the 15. Paradise picks it up at the 6. Has some trouble with his footing and goes down at the 10-yard line. Excellent coverage by the Hilltoppers and Chris Badgley in particular. So New Providence will have it 1st and 10. Let's check that interior front. Larry Mazzacca, Chris Kelleher left side. The center, Mike Coviello. Right side, Jim D'Arienzo and Chris Cowan. Receivers for New Providence, the tight end, Peter Thompson. Split end is Charlie White. And the quarterback, Tom Robertson. The fullback is Tom Marta. The halfback, Steve Paradise and Steve Gebert. 1st and 10 at the 10-yard line. Marta sweeping the left, has some running room. Picks up 6 or 7 yards before he's finally stopped by Leo Paytas coming up from his safety position. Summit plays a 5-2-4 defense. Tamalanka and DeCesar on the left side. The nose man, Mark Ford. Right side, Robert Carbone and George Miles. The linebackers, Rob Bradall and Jerry Hunt. And in the secondary, your corners are Zach Horn and Mark Haley. Safeties, Leo Paytas, Duff Badgley. 2nd and 4. Robertson scampering straight up the middle, has plenty of room and has a 1st down.
It looks like New Providence is going to attack the short side of the field. Summit has revolved their 4 deep into a 3 deep monster type look to the wide side of the field, and they've attacked 2 plays now toward the hash mark, toward the sideline.
So the big green offensive machine will move the football now from their own 22-yard line. 1st and 10. Charlie White wide right. Robertson back to pass, looking for Thompson. He hits Thompson up near the 32-yard line, close to another first down. Thompson, who's been the leading receiver on this club, ran a little bit of an out pattern to his left, and Robertson put it right on the money.
They sent the formation into the sideline and rolled back to the weak side. Here we see a fake cross buck, and Robertson rolls into the wide field toward the weak side of the formation, and on the run throws it up there, a nice grab. It's getting like tiptoeing on eggs out there. The ground is softening up as the weather warms up.
It is a first down, 1st and 10 from the 33. Robertson rolling out of the pocket, throwing long downfield, and it's incomplete. Steve Gebert, coming out of his wingback position, had beaten the secondary man. The ball was well thrown, but hustling back to help defensively was Zach Horn, and a long incompletion will bring up 2nd down and 10 yards to go. Robertson can throw the football.
From the run, he threw that ball. With those 62 completions, and you can see the 826 yards, 7 touchdowns. That's a fair amount for a high school quarterback.
2nd down, 10 yards to go. 7:44 to go. First quarter of play. No score between the Pioneers of New Providence, the Hilltoppers of Summit. This is the game to decide the champion in the Suburban Conference in 1980. White wide to the right side of the field. Back to pass, Robertson. Throws it intercepted by Duff Badgley. Well, we talked about Badgley offensively in the open, and now he shows you his defensive prowess. He smelled the play perfectly and comes up with the first turnover of the football game.
Duff had a very fine position on that play. He had that receiver wide, covered very, very well. The inside receiver, though, was open. I think Tom would like to have that one back. He forced it into a crowd.
Summit with excellent field position at the 37-yard line of New Providence. Turnover number 1 in the football game. Coming into the action, New Providence had only turned it over 16 times. Double wing formation. Now Badgley in motion to the right, but it appears as if Summit took a little bit too much time.
Now we have encroachment, I think, on the play. One of the New Providence linemen jumped into the neutral zone.
Here's our call from referee Ed Lynch. It is against the Pioneers. It will bring up a 1st down and 5 yards to go.
Larry Mazzacca got a little eager on that, and the cadence of the quarterback drew him off sides.
So at the 32, 1st and 5, Hilltoppers looking to capitalize on the first miscue of the football game. Serino wide to the left side of the field, wing right. Now they motion Badgley, and some problems on the snap, a loose football, and once again flags all over the place.
Everybody moved, but the center never snapped the ball. Confusion on the cadence. Offensively that time.
So the 1st and 5 will now be 1st and 10, and we'll start things all over again.
Well, nobody hurt so far. Of course, each coach thinks his team's mistake is to be the one that hurt him.
I've seen some outstanding football games Thanksgiving Day between these two clubs. The 2 games I remember in particular, 72, the game that we showed you in the open with Willie Wilson, and in 76, when New Providence went on to the undefeated season in the state championship behind Ted Blackwell. Okay, 1st and 10, double wing once again. Badgley in motion, Brodman back to throw, and it's incomplete. Looking for Askew coming out of the backfield, and the blitz was on for the Pioneers.
The Pioneers sent the people on the corner. And when the Badgley tried to release, that took paradise. Now we'll see drop back out of this rollout with the guards leading the play. Sets up and throws, and just missed by Robert Askew. We have 37 there, Steve Germain coming over to defend on the play from his safety position.
2nd and 10. 6:52, first quarter of play. We're scoreless. Paul Holman wide to the left side this time. Askew on the counter. Picks up 4 or 5 yards. Steve Paradise, the 5'8" junior, was there to make this stop. There's a look at Askew on the season. 148 rushes, 908 yards. He needs 185 to catch Willie Wilson, who set the all-time single-season record.
This is pretty well cleaned out here. There was nobody left to trap for the tackle coming around, but the counter play has been always an integral part of the Summit offense.
Third down, and call it 4. Badgley sweeping the right side, in trouble, and he appears short of the first down. The bottom of that pile once again is Doug Pastor, and New Providence seems to get excellent pursuit from Pastor and Kenny, both inside linebackers.
Those linebackers are back 1.5 yards, 2 yards off the ball, and they get good pursuit. They're not filling inside plays, committing themselves there immediately. They're reading and going with the guards and going to the off-tackle hole.
Ball is at the 29-yard line. This is 4th down and 2, and the Hilltoppers will go for it. And again, flags down on the football field.
Another encroachment on New Providence. As soon as the back went to release to go in motion, we had somebody step into the neutral zone.
Dick, a lot of times early in the football game, especially a football game that means a lot to these young players, you will see a share of mistakes, a share of turnovers.
Well, the bigger the game, the more excited they get, the harder it is to keep them under control.
So far in this football game, only 1 turnover. Duff Badgley coming up with the interception to set up this drive for the Hilltoppers. And the drive will continue with that 5-yard penalty against New Providence. Instead of 4th and 2, it is now 1st and 10. The ball at the 24 of New Providence. Mike Serino wide to the left side, wing right for the Hilltoppers. Pitch back to Askew. Has some running room across the 20-yard line. And Askew showing you his speed and his change of direction on that play.
On that play, defensively, New Providence shifted down and stacked their linebacker. Here we see the pitch and a good block by the tackle on that side who led the play around the corner. That was Bruce Caesar.
There's Robert Askew, the 5'10", 170-pound senior. And he has had some outstanding season for Coach Howie Anderson. A pickup of 9. 2nd down, 1 yard to go for a first down. The ball at the 15. Badgley has the first down. Flags are down as Badgley gets inside the 10-yard line before Steve Paradise makes the stop. But flags are down.
We had an illegal motion, I think, on the fullback getting a quick start to lead the play off tackle.
Referee Eddie Lynch talking to Steve Anderson and the New Providence defense. Jim Durienzo in there. And they will bring this one back.
That's a big mistake now for Summit. They had very, very good field position. They had a 1st and goal inside the 10-yard line.
Illegal motion against the Hilltoppers. Let's look at that last play one more time.
You can't see the illegal procedure. There's the backside guard and the fullback leading the play off tackle, and very, very good running by Duff Badgley.
Badgley gets the call. Identical play. Badgley skipping inside the 15, getting down to about the 12. And a nice pickup by Duff.
Same play out of a different formation. They put him at the wing-back spot instead of at the tailback and ran him back with a short motion and ran him off tackle. A good job blocking on that side by Tamalanka and Bradle.
First down, Hilltoppers. Football at the 13 of New Providence. Like the idea, he called the identical play after it worked the first time. I formation this time. Askew gets the call. Askew skips by 1 man, powers his way near the 5-yard line.
Very good, finally executed double team block by Tamalanka and Bradle again. They really blew the tackle out, and the lead back Hunt kicks out on this play. You see the down block and Hunt kicking out, and then we get tripped up action in there, but they handled the end and the tackle on that side. The linebacker couldn't get there.
They spot the ball at the 8, 2nd down and 4 for a first down, 8 yards for a touchdown. I formation once again. Askew gets the call. Askew trying to turn the corner, but he won't do it. Tom Marta there with some help from Doug Pastor.
Marta fought off a block and just held his ground, didn't go for any fakes, and just put his shoulder into Askew.
Well, that's what New Providence has to do today. They have to be able to stop the outside run, force the play to the inside. That's where they're going to get help.
On this field, though, I think this field will neutralize Robert Askew's moves. If the field is slippery, if he puts several on, he'll slip and fall down rather than the defender.
3rd and 4. Badgley to the right side. Badgley inside the 5, very close to a first down as his momentum carried him near the 4-yard line. Larry Mazzacca in on the tackle. And Howie Anderson, the head coach of the Hilltoppers, looking for victory number 149 today. There's the Anderson record, 67% in his career. And in the 70s, the second best winning record in Union County behind the Westfield Blue Devils.
Summit offensive line has looked impressive so far. They fired off the ball, and they are beating New Providence to the punch. They're making their blocks on the other side of the neutral zone, controlling the line of scrimmage.
Well, the ball a little bit short of that first down, and on 4th and 1, the Hilltoppers will go for it. 3:10 to go. First quarter of play. Sereno wide left. The rest of that club is tight. 4th and 1. Badgley stopped at the line, and he did not make it.
Defensively, New Providence got good penetration and made him tiptoe in the backfield. And once he broke his momentum, he had nothing left going for him anymore. He couldn't restart.
Great play by Steve Anderson and the interior line. And so New Providence has held, will take over deep in their own territory at the 5-yard line. And that's a big defensive play.
That was a good goal line stand, even though it wasn't at the goal line. Well, they're going to measure it on it anyhow.
It's short.
Missed by a yard.
By about a yard. And the Pioneers will have the football. Frank Baton, season number 13, looking for victory number 100 today, a 66% winning percentage. And his club, the 3rd best winning percentage in Union County during the 1970s. You know, they went with that same play, Badgley sweeping to the right side of the field. The first time it worked well, the second time well. That time, New Providence was able to stop it. Do you think they adjusted something defensively?
Yes, they did. They went to their goal line 6-5 defense and got good penetration from their 4-down linemen on the play and their stand-up end. And that was the difference on that play. They took the neutral zone away from Summit on that time, and Summit just couldn't get it back. Back was not tackled. He just slowed down, could not restart, and then the pursuit caught him.
New Providence from their own 5-yard line, 1st and 10. And in terms of momentum, that play might turn out to be a big one. But New Providence first has to get it out of their own end of the field.
They need a first down right now. They have to get themselves 10 yards even to have room to punt.
3 minutes, first quarter of play, no score. Robertson hands off to Marta. Marta gets a good move to the inside. Marta across the 15 has a first down up near the 20-yard line. And Tom Marta, the 6-foot, 175-pound senior, who has rushed for over 200 yards this season, picking up the first down.
That seems to be their game plan, to go to the short side of the field away from the monster. We see a good lead block out here by Paradise and good balance on Marta's part, and he gets caught from behind by the 2 safeties. 1st and 10 Pioneers. Look for them to run to the hash mark again, to the sideline.
They spot the ball at the 20. Long count. Hand off to Marta once again. Getting maybe a yard on the play, trying to follow Larry Mazzacca, but that time the Summit defense up to the task.
New Providence tried to fool them with an unbalanced line that time. They put their split end over on the same side as the tight end and tried to go inside looking for an automatic hole, but caused by the unbalanced line, but there was none.
That Summit defense, an unsung group, they've allowed only 8.4 points per game during the season. On 2nd and 9, Marta going off the right side, getting maybe a yard, and it will bring up a 3rd and 8. So on successive plays, Marta going off the right side and getting really nowhere.
The same thing again, though. They came with the unbalanced line. Tom just read the hole wrong. If he had gone one hole to the inside, there was enough daylight there to pick up a first down.
Minute 48 and counting down. First quarter of play. No score between the Pioneers and the Hilltoppers. Peter Thompson wide to the left side of the field. Robertson drops back, rolling to his right. Throws complete to Anthony Cavallo. Cavallo very close to a first down. Ran a pattern coming out from his fullback position where he had replaced Mr. Marta. And once again, the pass underneath the defense.
All right, here we see him roll toward the weak side of the formation after faking the handoff. An excellent lead block there, and the fullback filters out underneath the end here, and after the end drives the defender deep, it leaves it the responsibility of an inside linebacker to make the play. And he has a long way to go.
Anthony Cavallo, a 5'11 junior, started earlier in the season and getting enough yardage for the first down. So the ball right at the 30. Second first down for the Pioneers. Under a minute and a half in this first quarter of play. New Providence trying to get some kind of sustained drive going.
They did mention that they intend to pass a lot more today because of the loss of Mike Romeo, one thing, and also because Morris Hills exploited the pass against Summit last week.
Charlie White wide to the right. This time they run with the slot formation. Now they drop back to a wing left. And a little bit of movement on the left side of the line. Peter Thompson jumping a bit too soon. Sometimes when you're switching as much as they have been, it creates some problems, and Thompson just jumping the gun a bit.
The change in formation is designed to take advantage of what Summit's doing defensively. They're playing one group of people on the tight end side of the formation, one group on the split end side of the formation. So they showed it one way and switched to the other, but they were offsides.
They started out slot right. They ended up wing left that time. You know, it's interesting. Howie Anderson said that this New Providence club is tougher to defend without Romeo because they can do so many more things and do a lot of different things.
Yeah, in a key situation with Romeo in there, you know who they're going to go to. Now you have to flip a coin.
First and 15. Right up the middle, getting a handoff is Steve Gebert. Gebert getting back across the original line of scrimmage and picking up 2 or 3 additional yards, but a flag thrown in that New Providence backfield. And it has been a flag-infested first quarter of play. Holding call against New Providence, and that's a big one.
They can't make that mistake again because they really took away a good play for themselves. They came with the unbalanced line with the 2 ends on the same side of the formation, and the Summit defense is confused as to which side to defend.
So a big 15 being marked off against the Pioneers. The clock showing just under 50 seconds to play, and that's got to upset that man, Coach Frank Fatone. They were moving the football nicely, and now successive penalties have pushed the football all the way back to the 13-yard line. First and 27. Marta to the outside. Marta gets an excellent block across the 30-yard line. Marta close to the 40.
He has shown outstanding speed on that play. I didn't think he was going to be able to run away from the secondary of these people at Summit, but he did on that one.
He picked up an outstanding block on the left side. Yep. Maybe we can pick it up.
We missed that block. Here it is. Paradise again. Throw it. Catches 26. He gives him the corner. And he just long loafing stride. He has a real fine gait for a running back. He keeps a real tight two-step there when he's going stuff, but when he gets daylight, he runs.
24-yard pickup, 2nd and 3. Marta almost lost the football, corralled in the backfield by George Miles, the right end, and dropped for a loss.
And they've got Summit a little bit off balance by throwing the different formations at them.
This Summit club, a senior-dominated ball club. Only one junior starts offensively and defensively, and that's Bruce DeCesar, who plays left tackle defensively and offensively will also play that same left tackle position. New Providence, Dick, is very young. You have to think that next year this club is going to be outstanding.
Yes, they've come a long way this year, too.
And that is it for the first quarter of play from Leader Field in New Providence, New Jersey. The score: Summit nothing, New Providence nothing. Back with more high school football action in just a moment. For the yard pass. Throws complete to Charles White, and it's good for a first down. So in the first play of the second quarter, New Providence picking up their 3rd first down of this drive. It has been a strange kind of drive, picking up 2 quick first downs, and then a couple of penalties, the long run by Marta, and now another first down. And let's look at Robertson showing his cool in that last play.
That's the waggle pass again. He fakes the fullback, fakes to the halfback, and then on the run he throws the ball very well. Nice reception on the play. Good concentration.
First and 10, and slipping in the backfield is Marta. And that center of the football field, no doubt the most difficult part of the field in terms of footing. earlier today it was ice. I was walking around about 7 o'clock, 7:30 this morning, and that field was what you might call very, very hard.
This is what usually happens on Thanksgiving Day. The later you get in the day, the more slippery the field conditions become.
2nd and 12. Robertson, straight drop back, has time, throwing to Paradise, coming out of the backfield, first down, into Summit territory, and finally stepping out of bounds at the 40-yard line of Summit. And New Providence mixing things up nicely in this drive.
They've got Summit off balance. There's no question about it. All right, on the rollout now, fake first. Marta sets up the block. Just lobbed it over because there was nobody there. Summit came on a full blitz. They were caught in man-to-man coverage, and they had too far to go to get to the second receiver.
Steve Paradise pulling in that reception, the 5'8" junior. First down, 40-yard line for the Pioneers. Marta has some trouble in the backfield, and he is dropped for no gain. Tackle made by Ralph Coviello. And this a great rivalry this afternoon between New Providence and Summit High School. There, a look at the Thanksgiving Day meetings. It has been traditionally a good defensive game for one team or the other. Summit victorious in 71, as you see. Summit victorious in 72 and 73. New Providence in 74 and 75. Robertson throwing to Paradise coming out of the backfield. It's half the yardage necessary.
That's a repeat of the play they were successful with before, where they just roll the back out of the backfield underneath the split end and dump the ball to them.
Going back to the meetings between those two clubs, New Providence victorious with the Blackwell-led club in 76. Summit victorious in 77 and 78 by shutout margins. And New Providence the winner by a shutout last year. New Providence leads the Thanksgiving Day series 5-4. And it's a 3rd and 5 for the Pioneers. Robertson in trouble, and Robertson goes down.
He got by the nose guard, Mark Ford, on that play. Got good penetration, defeated the center's block, and Robertson had no place to go. All right, here we go with the drop back action. Fake first. He's pressured from the outside, and then Mark Ford gets there and makes the hit.
That Ford name at Summit High School has been with the football program for about 8 years.
Howie's lived with a Ford in his future for a long time.
That's right. He has Billy Ford and Steve Ford, who have gone on to college and played football and lacrosse. Robertson on 4th down will punt it away, standing at his own 45-yard line, and he will have to go for a timeout. He saw something he didn't like with that New Providence setup, and you hate to waste a timeout, Dick, right here.
Well, I'd rather, if I were coaching, I'd rather use one here with if everybody's unsure what's going on, because Summit might have set up in what looked like to be a blocking formation that maybe they hadn't seen before. So better talking it over rather than have one blocked and give them excellent field position as they would have right here.
9:03 to go, first half, scoreless football game between the Pioneers and the Hilltoppers. It is 4th down and 11 yards to go for New Providence, and they look to punt it away to Coach Howie Anderson's Summit Club.
If we could go back to something you said before about Summit being a veteran team, they were ready to play early. The question was if they could remain on an emotional high through the season, because they know they had the people. But New Providence has probed around looking for different people all year long, changes here, changes there, had a hard time getting a team together to make a consistent offensive unit. They seem to have got one now. This is the first time we've seen them since the 4th game, and they have vastly improved. They are really executing well.
4th and 11. Robertson dropping back to punt. Badgley, the lone deep man for the Hilltopper. Robertson gets away a beauty. Badgley watches it bounce at the 10, picks it up at the 3. Duff across the 10. Good inside move. Badgley across the 30. Look out, across midfield. Badgley at the 30, the 20. He's gone, but a flag is down, and we may get a clip against Jerry Hutt. Badgley with a brilliant return, 97 yards, but the last 40 or so aided by a block, and I believe they caught Jerry Hutt for clipping up near the 35-yard line.
That is tragic. That is tragic. That young man really put his heart into that run.
Here's the call from Ed Lynch. There's the clipping call.
That's an
Looked
illegal
like a
block.
back block,
Right.
not a clipping call.
Blocking below the waist. In the kicking game, all blocks must be executed above the waist. They cannot be thrown below.
Look at
Here we
Badgley.
see him running the sideline. A good move there. He almost lost his balance and slipped, but he kept his feet, and there's the block right there. We repeat that on the replay again sometime, you'll see, and a little high-stepping Lenny Moore action to get himself free to get to the end zone. But Summit does an excellent job on their kicking game. I know you can ask the Westfield coach on that one, because they have haunted Westfield with punt returns and everybody else in their schedule. They have just many, many cannons to throw at people here, offensively and in the return game.
Well, a great return by Duff Badgley. He'll be credited for a 52-yard return. They spot the football at the 46-yard line of New Providence.
I was about to say he made a mistake when he refielded that ball. Should have let it go in the end zone, but I think he knew what he was doing.
1st and 10 Hilltoppers. Askew in motion, gets the call. Askew straight across the middle, gets 6 yards, down to the 40-yard line. He takes 1 or 2 little steps, and boom, he's at full steam.
Having tried to defense Robert last year as the defensive coach for Westfield, he was the best running back I saw, because he can change his cadence, his stride, and explode very, very quickly.
And he doesn't need much room at all. 2nd down, 4 to go for a 1st down. Jerry Hunt has that 1st down. Hunt barreling over Tom Marta inside the 35-yard line. And the first time today we've seen the big guy get the call and move to the outside, and he is pretty quick for his size.
Yes, he is. There's a good trap block by Mark Ford. They block down with the tackle and in, and a kick-out block by Mark Ford with Askew out in position to receive a pitch. It's a belly pitch play, and well executed.
1st down at the 34-yard line for the Hilltoppers. Badgley in motion. Duff gets the pitch out. Makes a good move to the inside, gets maybe 2 yards, and stopped by Doug Pastor and by Steve Jomine.
Coming back to the right side of the formation, it's the same play, the counter to that same play executed to the wide field. They fake to the fullback going off tackle and pitch the ball to the tailback.
A pickup of 2 on the play. Summit with a 2nd and 8 situation. 7 minutes, 26 seconds to go in this first half of play. No score between Summit and New Providence. And now Coach Howie Anderson wants to talk things over with his quarterback, Chris Brodman, and Summit taking their first time out.
So far, the Summit offensive line has done an excellent job in the running game of exploding across the neutral zone and really moving out the New Providence defense. And on the other side, New Providence offensive line has done an excellent job of protecting their quarterback.
Who will win the conference this year? We'll find out by the end of this afternoon's football game. The last 3 years, Madison Borough, under Coach Ted Monica, has won the title in '76. New Providence last won the crown. Going back to '75, again, Madison and Coach Monica. In '74, New Providence winning it. And from '73, going all the way back to 1968, Summit was victorious and came away with 6 consecutive conference titles. So Summit hasn't won a title in a while.
It's been a while.
Providence in '76, one will own that title today, perhaps 2. 2nd down and 8. Jerry Hunt off the right side. Steve Anderson dragging him down. Mark Fleech also in there on the tackle. And again, Doug Pastor.
Puts him in a long yardage situation here for 3rd down. They tried to go off tackle that time with Hunt. Here we see the replay of it. The lead back is Askew. He's leading on the off tackle block. And a nice job there by Anderson, who got his feet planted and wouldn't let him through.
3rd and 6 at the 30-yard line. Sereno wide to the left, double wing. Now in motion is Askew. Brodman looking for the quick look and hits Sereno, and it's good for a 1st down. Well executed play by the Hilltoppers.
Yes, they did a nice job on that. They brought the split end in and put Badgley out in the flat, and they had Askew out in motion, so they flooded the one side of the field. And here we see the reverse pivot. The quarterback, nice lead blocking there by Hunt, and there's the curl-in pattern by Sereno. It's tough to come up because of pump fake, and he can go behind you, so it's tough for the secondary. They have to hold the ground until they're sure the ball will be thrown.
There's Brodman's stats on the year, engineering this drive at the 20-yard line, 1st and 10. Brodman throwing long for Badgley, incomplete.
Same pattern. We have everybody thinking about the split end coming in, and they rolled them out up to the sideline. They rolled Badgley out there and still flooded the sideline. Here we see it again. The same play action that they had before. Now he just hangs it up into the end zone, hoping to get Badgley down deep into the corner, and the ball is deflected by Tom Marta.
So it brings up a 2nd and 10.
That's a very difficult play to defense because of the inside action of the split end, outside action of the running back, and the flat is flooded by the wing back coming in motion.
Paul Holman split left, Askew in motion, the handoff to Badgley straight up the middle. Duff gets to the 15, and that is all. Pastor made a hit on that play. Jim DiRienzo was there, and on the bottom of that pile, Steve Paradise. Somebody's getting outstanding blocking from their front 5, Dick, both running the football, and when Brodman wants to pass, he has plenty of time.
They're doing an excellent job. They're getting off the ball very, very quickly.
Big 3rd and 5 at the 15. Askew gets the pitch back. Askew losing his balance, still able to get near the 10-yard line, following big Jerry Hunt, close to another Summit 1st down. See what our referee Ed Lynch has for us.
All right, here we see him slip. Good job, a good running back. He puts his hand down, keeps his feet going, and fights to keep his head up. An excellent job by Robert.
They bring the chains on. Ball resting right on the 10-yard line. And it is a 1st down. So Summit has no place to go now but pay dirt. 5:39 to go. First half scoreless football game. Summit 1st and goal at the 10-yard line.
I think as this game develops, you're going to see more teams running straight at people because the conditions are going to get very, very slippery trying to run wide and cut.
Askew in motion to the left. Jerry Hunt barreling up the middle, gets maybe 3 yards on the play. Mark Fleisch made the initial hit. Pastor also there to help out. Well, New Providence has held once already this afternoon on the other side of the field in the 1st quarter of play. And let's see if their defense can rise to the occasion one more time. Summit has certainly shown an ability to move the football in this 1st half. Sereno wide to the left. Badgley wing left for the Hilltoppers. 2nd and 7 for a touchdown. Badgley following Jerry Hunt, and he is stopped. Again, Steve Anderson, the first man to make contact. And Steve Williams also helping out on the play. And also in there, big Larry Mazzaka, the 6-foot, 180-pound junior.
Here's a ground level shot at this thing. We'll see Steve Anderson fight off a block and string the play, running laterally with what we call a karaoke wave drill. And he forces the back to cut back in, and the inside pursuit comes along with their shoulders parallel to the line of scrimmage, which is always a sign of a good and well-coached defensive football team.
Ball spotted back at the 9. 3rd and 9 for a Summit touchdown. Brodman, play action pass, rolling to his right. Throws, intercepted. Picked off by Steve Gilmine, and he returns it to the 5. And once again, the New Providence defense has held.
Well, Steve sat back and waited for that ball to be thrown because there were 2 receivers, from my view, that were wide open in the end zone. One of them, Duff Badgley, and the ball, as it was released, he just stepped in. Here we see the quarterback setting up, and on the run to throw, there's Badgley, and there comes Jermaine right in and steps inside, and oh, what a job by him. I'll tell you what, though, Frank Patone's going to lose hair instead of getting gray hair if they have to play with their back to the goal line all day.
Well, they have the ball at the 5-yard line.
It was a little bit of indecision whether to stay in the end zone with that ball or to bring it out. I think he made the right decision, though. He might have been out halfway out of the end zone as he intercepted the ball. If he had stepped back in, it would have been a safety.
Been a fiery New Providence defense that has kept the club in the game so far in this first half of play. From the 5, 1st and 10 for the Pioneers. Handoff, Marta, flag goes down on the play, and we'll take a short timeout. We'll be back with more high school football action in just a moment.
You know what I think? I think you forgot to lock your door. A lot of people do that. They forget. It's too bad because all crime needs is a chance. Don't give it the chance. It's my job to teach you to protect yourselves. Make it your job to learn. Write to Box 6600, Rockville, Maryland. Oh, and one more thing. Lock your door and take a bite out of crime.
Penalty against the Providence. And on first down from their own 3, they run to the left side, getting the call, number 44, Steve Paradise, moving the football close to maybe the 4-yard line. And here's another look at that last play.
They come with the unbalanced line and run a dive play to Paradise, and just can't get through there because the down block closed the hole for him. He tried to bounce to the outside, but couldn't get any footing to do so. They're causing problems for Summit with that unbalanced line.
Third down, 12 yards to go from the 5-yard line. Robertson back in his own end zone, gets it away, incomplete. And I'm telling you, he was really decked in that end zone. The pursuit came from Robert Carbone, the right tackle, and Robertson got the ball away just in time, or it would have been some safety.
That time, they came with an unbalanced line and pass from the unbalanced, and Summit was very confused. They caught Summit with their defense in the wrong position, but he just took off from wherever he was and just put on a good pass rush.
Fourth down, Robertson punting from the very end of the end zone. There's his perspective. Robertson gets away a short punt off the side of his foot. It goes out of bounds near the 22-yard line, and Summit will take over with excellent field position once again and plenty of time. 2 minutes, 40 seconds to go in this first half of play. And once again, tremendous penetration on this play.
This is a good view of what it's like to be back here. You see all the white shirts coming at you, but I think he lifted his head up to see if the rush was coming and took his eye and lost his concentration on the ball. Yeah, the stripes looked like he went up, and then he hooked the ball across his body.
Sorry, Dick, it wasn't really tremendous penetration. Just the contrary. I thought it was held and blocked pretty well by the New Providence front.
Well, the camera shows a different view of from what we saw. That's intercepted by Tom Marta.
Marta picking off Rodman's pass, and what a football game this has been. Summit with field position, moving the ball down each and every time. The first time, the New Providence defense rising to the occasion, stopping them at the 3-yard line. Then we get the interception by Joe Mai in the end zone, and now we get an interception by Tom Marta.
Here we see him throw the ball, and it looked like there was a breakdown in timing because the linebacker stepped right in front of the receiver's face and it caused him to throw it high and over to avoid the interception, but it went down to the deep halfback as a result.
So first and 10 for the Pioneers from their own 15-yard line. Robertson hands off to Paradise. Paradise gets to the 23, and then he is really popped by Rob Bradle.
He really laid him down on that play. That's the best tackle we've had all day. But they came again with the unbalanced line, and they found daylight in it. Here we see, there's the daylight. There's a good kick-out block here. Really a good job. And there's a real fine hit by Bradle.
Bradle, a 5'11", 185-pound senior who's an outstanding blocker as the tight end for the Summit offense and doubles as a linebacker defensively. 2nd and 4. Slight mix-up in the backfield, and that play was diagnosed well by Bradle once again.
Yeah, Rob Carbone did a good job on that play also, because when they came with the unbalanced line, he just slanted down to the inside. It made it very difficult for Larry Mazzocca to block him. And the back happened to be running that lane, and we ended up with a stalemate.
So a timeout on the football field with 1:39 to go in this first half of play. No score, but it has been an exciting first half of play.
The fans are getting their money's worth today. They're seeing some real good offense and yet some good defense besides.
You've been a defensive coordinator for many years. What do you say to your defense when the other club is marching down and really putting it to them on a drive, and then they come up repeatedly with the big play when they have to?
Well, you're very thankful that they do get the big play, but then you go back and try and find the nuts and bolts and find out what they're doing wrong that's giving them the big play, the drive on the way down the field.
Okay, 3rd and 4 for the Pioneers. Robertson hands to Marta. Marta shy of the first down. Tackle made by Mark Haley.
Rob Carbone did a nice job again of that quick penetration we spoke of before through that unbalanced line and caused the back to change direction and lose the timing on the play.
So it's 4th down and about 2 yards to go, 1:15 to go in this first half, and New Providence will punt it away. Tom Robertson will drop back in punt formation, and Duff Badgley drops back deep for the Hilltoppers. He does it all. Pressure this time. Robertson gets it away. Another short punt. Bounces out of bounds near the 45. And once again, Summit will try to move that football with 50 seconds to go in the first half of play, but with good field position.
Well, he didn't want to hang the ball in the air again down the field because he did once before, and Summit ran a real good return on it. They've got good field position, but nothing like they had the last series.
Let's see what the Hilltoppers do with the football. From the New Providence 45, 1st and 10. Askew gets the call. Askew across the 40, across the 35, inside the 30-yard line. 1st down, Hilltopper.
That was the classic Summit sweep to the weak side. They start him in a half a step motion here. Watch the linemen all pull in that direction. A toss back and lead blocked by Badgley and Ford, and now he cuts back through the off tackle hole, goes back toward the opposite side of the field and gets caught by backside pursuit.
1st and 10 at the 27-yard line of New Providence. Broadman throwing complete to Askew. Askew inside the 25 to about the 24-yard line. Official time taken now. Summit has called timeout with 29 seconds to go in this first half, and Askew showing you he can catch the football as well.
Well, he's an outstanding receiver, the #1 receiver on the club. We see drop back action, straight drop back, and it's just a quick out pattern to Robert to the sideline, and you just can't afford to play too tight on him because he can bounce it and break it upfield on you while you're moving in the wrong direction. The footing is going to be treacherous here, and it's going to be very, very difficult in the passing game to get coverage on receivers, especially when they drop back and have time to throw.
It's cold. Thanksgiving Day.
Is that one person with 2 heads?
No, I think that's a couple of people. It's trying to stay warm. Thanksgiving Day traditionally a cold, blustery afternoon, and this one no different. Fans huddled together here at Leader Field, and what a crowd it is. Packed all around. I have seen big crowds here. I've seen big crowds at Tadlock for Thanksgiving Day games, but this one is right up with all of them. There's a look at the back judge, Phil DiDomenico, and his perspective. 2nd down and 4. Broadman with time. Ball is incomplete. Almost picked off by Doug Pastor. And it will now bring up 3rd down and about 4 to go. Clock stopped at 23 seconds.
This is something Summit does this quite frequently now. They run straight drop back action. He sets up the throw, searches the field, and I think there might have been a deflection there by somebody. I think it was Mark Cleach who was jumping on the play. Deflected ball changed the trajectory away from the receiver toward the defender.
24-yard line. 3rd down, 4 yards to go for the Hilltoppers. Askew in motion to the left side. Broadman, play action pass. Throws incomplete. 16 seconds remaining.
In their attempt to get pressure on that quarterback, they're losing their contain. The defensive end got hooked on that play, let the quarterback free. Now here we see him fake the cross buck, set up to the outside, and the end is hooked by the tackle. Now he's on the run, throwing and throwing back. A very difficult pass to complete. Running to your left, throwing to your right, and it just missed a diving catch.
Well, let's see if Summit goes for a field goal. They have not kicked a field goal so far this year. The clock shows 16 seconds remaining. Now an official timeout taken on the field. Looks like Rob Bradle is going to try this field goal. So Rob Bradle will try the field goal. They'll spot the football at the 30. It'll be a 40-yard field goal, if good. The ball is down. It is up there. It is good. A 40-yard field goal by Rob Bradle, and the Summit Hilltoppers have taken a 3-0 lead with no time remaining, or little time remaining in this first half of play. What a boot.
He did a nice job. He concentrated, kept his head down, and followed through. Here we see his head down on the kick. Now he looks up after it goes, and he had plenty of that. He had plenty of that goal post right there. He had a nice job.
There's Bradle, and what a kick it was.
I'm positive he's practiced, though. He hasn't just come up with that play by drawing it in the dirt like gym class.
So he kicked it with 16 seconds to go. 3-0 Summit leads. And that is the first field goal they've hit all season long.
Well, it certainly came in an opportune moment for them. I think New Providence was expecting a fake. I didn't think they were going to kick the ball, or at least New Providence didn't look like they expected them to kick the ball.
There are the New Providence men dropping back deep, waiting for this punt. Number 33 is Steve Gebert. In the center is Steve Paradise. And on the far side is Tom Martin. Kicking off, Rob Bradle.
Tommy, get over that way a little more.
Bradle hits it straight down the football field, handled by Paradise at the 15, across the 25, across the 30, and stopped there by a couple of Summit tacklers. And that is it for the first half of play. What a dandy. You wanted action, you got plenty of it. And the field goal by Bradle, the only point. The score, Summit 3, New Providence nothing. We'll be back with the halftime show in just a moment.
When I'm not on one kind of court, I'm on another. And I know from experience, whatever sport you play, if you want to be able to keep your eye on the ball, you have to get on the ball and protect your eyes. Racquetball and tennis are among the most dangerous for eyes. The ball can reach speeds of over 100 miles an hour. Besides that, you've got rackets flying, and, like any other sport, plenty of elbows. Thousands of children and adults suffer sports eye injuries every year, needlessly. 9 out of 10 could be prevented by protective eyewear, safety glasses, or special sports eye protectors. They're no trouble, and even help some people play better by removing the fear of being hit. So, take it from the Pearl. Give your eyes a sporting chance.
From the two communities is an indication that they want to keep this tradition going. With over 6,000 fans here at Leader Field today, you know that this football game means a lot to both of these clubs. We're set to go for the second half of play. Bradle hits it deep for the Hilltoppers, and Paradise takes it on his own 5-yard line. Steve Paradise returns it across the 25 to the 26-yard line, where the Pioneers will have it 1st and 10. The New Providence offensive line, Mazaka, Kelleher, Coviello, DiRienzo, and Cowan. The receivers, Thompson and White. Quarterback, Tom Robertson. And the running back, Steve Paradise, Tom Marta, and Steve Gebert. So 1st and 10, first offensive play of the second half. New Providence trailing 3-0, wing right. And the handoff to number 44, Steve Paradise, getting maybe a couple of yards on the play. Ed Tomalanka in on the tackle with some help from everybody else. And let's tell you about the front five for Summit. Tomalanka, DeCesar, Ford, Carbone, and Miles. Linebackers, Bradle and Hunt. secondary, Badgley, Horn, Hayes, Haley. A pickup of 1 yard on the play. Second down, 9 yards to go for the Pioneers. Peter Thompson, tight left side, wing right for New Providence. Handoff to Tom Marta, and Marta is stacked up at the line of scrimmage. Again, good pursuit from Eddie Tamalanka, and also in there on that tackle was Bruce DeCesar. Robert Carbone also in there to make the stop.
They're having their troubles with Robert. You can see him fight off the block here and reach in from behind and make the tackle. He's too quick for the New Providence offensive line. Small for a defensive tackle at 170 pounds, but he's got all heart.
Third down, 8 yards to go for the Pioneers. Robertson back to pass, pumps once, throws, it's incomplete. In and out of the hands of Steve Paradise, and it will bring up a 4th and 8.
They had that pass well defended. They had the coverage rolled into the sideline that time, looking for the sideline pattern, and they got it, and they had both receivers well covered.
So Tom Robertson will drop back in punt formation, and dropping back deep as the receiver for the Summit Hilltoppers, number 40, Duff Badgley. There's a good look at Robertson. Had a little bit of trouble punting in that first half of play. Gets away with a low kick. It bounces at the 45 of New Providence, gets an excellent roll, and finally goes dead at the 38-yard line of Summit, where the Hilltoppers will take over. And you know, Dick, when you kick that football today, considering the cold, it's got to hurt the foot a little bit.
Well, it'll numb your toe a little bit, but he's doing a nice job of just trying to kick the ball short and low and let the coverage take care of it. They're sending one wide receiver down the field and kicking the ball toward him so to break that run back.
There's one of the deans of high school football coaches in New Jersey, Howie Anderson of Summit, in season number 25. Hilltoppers 1st and 10. Jerry Hunt hit at the line of scrimmage and dropped by
Bruce DeCesar.
Bruce DeCesar. Let's look at Anderson's records with the Summit Hilltoppers in the 70s. 70, 21, and 2. Pretty respectable, Dick.
Yes, sir. He's done a fine job at Summit High School. They've changed their offense in the last few years and gone to this wing tee, and it's been very helpful for them.
He's gone with the wing tee the last 6 years. Second down, 9 yards to go for Summit. And the handoff is to Askew. Again going to the left side, getting 4 or 5 yards on the play. Tackle made by Mark Cleach. And it will bring up a 3rd down and 5.
Summit offensive line quick off the ball again on anything going inside the tackles. Everybody's having trouble going wide because the field footing is very, very poor.
3rd and 5 from the 42. Broadman hands to Askew, stopped at the line of scrimmage. And so neither team able to move the football, their first offensive possession of the second half. There's Frank Batone, skipper for the Pioneers. 67 and 29. He led the club during the 1970s, also a marvelous record. And New Providence showed they could stop Summit in that first possession. That has got to be big.
Well, that'll be big for them as the game goes on. And Summit had good field position, so New Providence did take that away.
Mike Reardon punting away. Hangs it high, bounces at the 30, takes a Summit roll inside the 15, inside the 10, and dies at the 7-yard line.
We talked about the roll of the ball on the AstroTurf last week at the Meadowlands, but this one rolled a good 20 yards on the mud.
So once again, New Providence will have to move from their own end of the field. They have not had good field position, Dick, all day long.
No, they've been in the hole all day long, and when they did get good field position, they earned it. They put on a drive, and then they get themselves a big penalty, which forced them into a long yardage situation.
I know Frank Batone is saying, why do we have to have the ball inside our own 15-yard line every time we start?
Well, he's got to work his way out here, because if they can control the ball for the remainder of the quarter on the ground, they'll have the wind with them at the end of the quarter.
First and 10 from the 7. Straight handoff up the middle. Steve Paradise gets maybe a yard or 2 on the play.
That was jammed up by the linebackers and the linemen, all funneling into that one position there. They tried to go from the I formation, but Summit knows they can't run wide anymore, and especially at this location on the field. It's too muddy.
Carbone at the bottom of that pile, 5'8", 170-pound senior, playing a fine football game at the right tackle position. Second down, 7 yards to go. Straight up the middle, and a good hit in the backfield. And we've talked a lot about the Summit offense, but that defensive front is playing aggressively.
Roberts been more than they can handle. He's been helped out, and we'll see the play right here as he leads in, and Carbone stacks it up, and the linebackers come in and fill, and Ford is there also on the play.
And is Bradle strong? Look at him pushing that play back. We saw him with an outstanding hit early in the football game, and again there coming up to make a fine hit. Third down, 6 yards to go, 6:55 to go. Third quarter of play. Summit 3, New Providence nothing. Robertson hands to Marta. Marta fighting for a first down. He crosses the 15-yard line, and indeed he is very close.
All right, here we see the power block here. Lead block by the fullback, and Marta tries to cut off that, but the defender slips back off the block, and there's Carbone's number again. We've called him all day along with Ford at the bottom of the pile.
It is enough for a first down, and they spot it at the 18-yard line. So that's a little bit of breathing room for New Providence.
Well, they get 4 more cracks now. They've been most successful running off tackle to the sideline.
They run out of the eye this time. Handoff goes to Steve Gebert. And the young sophomore crosses the 20. Gebert, coming into today's football game, was averaging over 10 yards a carry.
Well, they switched him to tailback and put Marta at fullback, and Marta was the lead blocker on the last play. It was a repeat of the first down play. All right, here we see Marta leading out. The handoff comes, and we're running off tackle to the sideline toward our camera. But the cornerback fights off the block and makes the tackle. Rather, George Miles, the defensive end, 42.
2nd and 7. Robertson, long count. Now he hands to Marta. Look at him churn away straight up the middle before Zach Horn came up to fill nicely from his cornerback position. Pickup of about 4 on the play. It will be 3rd down and 2 for a first down.
By sprinting out of the huddle so rapidly, getting the formation set, they're taking advantage of the fact that Summit is trying to flop defensive ends to the formation of the New Providence team. And they're catching them short. They're taking a little bit too long to read it to get there.
3rd and 2, Pioneers. Handoff to Gebert. Oh, he's hit by Badgley, but close to a first down.
One thing about Summit secondary, they always come very quickly to support on the run. They sacrifice the defensive end by sending them inside and let the corner and the safety come up and make the tackle to stop the first down. All right, here we'll see it here as the end steps inside. Here comes the lead back kicking out on the corner, but the safety and the linebacker come in and make the hit.
They will bring the chains on to measure. On that last particular play, Duff Badgley came up to really pop Gebert. And now they will measure. Just a little bit short. 4th down, about a foot to go. New Providence with the football at their own 27-yard line. And they are
Stay in the huddle. Stay in the huddle till they're ready for play.
Looks like they're going to go for it, Dick.
I think so. I think so. I don't think they want to take a chance and giving Summit the ball again and let them grind it out on it.
4:52 to go. 3rd quarter of play. Summit 3, New Providence nothing. This for the championship in the Suburban Conference. And on 4th and 1 from their own 27-yard line, New Providence will go for the first down. I formation behind Mr. Robertson. The give is to Marta. First down. Marta has more as he crosses the 30-yard line. Gutsy call by Frank Patone, but give him a lot of credit.
But there's the advantage of the I formation. He could read daylight. The original hole was supposed to go straight ahead. We'll see here the fullback leads inside, which indicates an inside play, but Marta reads daylight at the corner and runs and just defeats the tackle of the cornerback coming up.
So New Providence now with a real lot of room to move. They move from the 33-yard line, 1st and 10. 4:28 to go, 3rd quarter of play. And dropped in the backfield, Steve Paradise. There to make the tackle, Robert Carbone.
As I mentioned before, we've called his number an awful lot today, but he has done a real fine job. He has just been too quick for the New Providence offensive line.
Carbone, 5'8", 170 pounds. He's a senior. And he is playing his heart out this afternoon. A loss of 4. Second down, 14 yards to go for the Pioneers. Charlie White wide right. Robertson back to pass, rolling to his left. Keeps the football, eludes one tackler, loses the football. Mark Ford in there on the tackle, but I believe it was after play had been called dead. A pickup of about 4 on the play. Crossing the original line of scrimmage, it will be a long third down.
The key on this is to watch the drop of the quarterback, and as he rolls, he reads that the defensive end, Jerry Miles, has dropped off the line of scrimmage to be a linebacker and taking away the short quarter of the field. So then he decides to run on the play. He gets hit, and you'll see as he hits the ground, the ball pops loose. Whoops.
Looked like it might have popped loose a little bit earlier.
Yes, it did. But it was hidden under his body, and the official couldn't get a good look at it.
Third down, 9. Movement on the right side of that New Providence line, and flags go down all over the place with 2:54 remaining in this third quarter of play. Summit leading 3-0 on the 40-yard field goal by Rob Bradle with just 16 seconds to go in that first half. And now a 5-yard penalty for procedure being marked off against New Providence.
Well, New Providence has got to get their act together now.
No quick sound. Same thing.
They've got to stop being their own worst enemy and putting themselves in long yardage situations where the Summit defense can sit back and play pass.
Okay, instead of 3rd and 10, it's 3rd and 15. Robertson back to pass, rolling out of the pocket in trouble, gets away from one man, throwing long downfield for Charlie White. Incomplete.
Zach Horn back there defending. It looked like the ball was in the hands of the receiver, but knocked out at the last second by Zach Horn, excuse me.
So 4th down, and the Pioneers this time will punt it away. There's our score, 3-0, Summit leading with 2:35 to go in the third quarter of play. Tom Robertson dropping back in punt formation. Duff Badgley awaiting his snap. It's a low snap. Robertson gets it out of there, though. And it goes out of bounds at the Summit 48-yard line.
Fortunately, Summit was not coming with the rush. They were building a fence to set up a wall on the far side of the field. But once again, they kicked the ball short to the sideline to the split receiver who was going down.
Let's watch the way Robertson handled that punt. He got it out of there, Dick.
Yeah, he played like a shortstop right here. He got a good bounce to his glove hand side, came up with the ball, concentrated this time, and kicked it low and drove the ball into the wind down the sideline.
48-yard line, 1st and 10 Hilltoppers. Serino wide right, wing right, Askew motion left. Askew gets the call, bobbles the ball, breaks through, and has a first down. Robert Askew is so tough. That time he bobbled the football. A lot of backs might have just tried to hang on to it and go down. He picked it up, kept on running, and picked up 11 yards.
You'll see the pitch to him here, and the corner is taken away. They come up to him, the pitch comes late, and he's the only person on this field that can change direction, it seems like. He's caught by Paradise from the backside pursuit.
Crowd enjoying themselves today. 1st and 10 Summit at the 40 of NP. Down and out pass to Serino is complete at the 35-yard line. Just a little quick lookout play. Rodman connecting with Serino. And in his best drive early in the day, Rodman also threw a couple passes mixed in with some fine runs.
That's right. Then they threw on 1st down and successfully in the past, and they did it there.
2nd and 5 at the 35 of New Providence. Serino wide right. Askew motion left. Askew gets the call. Robert gets to the 32-yard line. It'll bring up a 3rd and short situation. 3rd and 2 for the Hilltoppers, and we haven't seen them in many third short yardage situations.
No, we don't even know what their game plan is for short yardage because they haven't faced it yet today.
Well, Jerry Hunt hasn't handled the ball in a while. He's the big fullback. Let's see if maybe they give it to him straight up the middle. Summit, 3 undefeated seasons over the years. And now a big 3rd and 2, straight up the middle. Brodman keeping it close to a first down.
He might have leaned his way across with the ball. It all depends on the spot.
Brodman has pretty good size, 5'11 and a half, 165 pounds. Leaned into that offensive line, and
all right, here we see he goes straight up and down, but he steps to the right of center to go behind the block of Ford. Now, New Providence did not employ a goal line defense at that point. They stayed in their basic 5-2 front, and it left room over the guard.
well, they're a little bit short. 4th down, and maybe a foot. Now they'll measure. It looks to be
It looks short.
2 football lengths short.
I agree with you. It looks short. Of course, they're having a hard time finding a line to put the chain on to mark it.
About a football and a half short. And the ball resting at the 31-yard line. 4th down, and the Hilltoppers will go for it. 42 seconds remaining. 3rd quarter of play. Sereno wide right. Hilltoppers with a wing right with Askew in the wing. Now he goes in motion, and he gets the call, and he has the first down. Fumble! Summit recovers.
They went with the toss sweep that time to Robert Askew into the sideline to the tight end side of the formation. All right, here we see the pitch. Guards leading down, halfback lead block, fullback lead block, and we pick up the first down by no sweat at all. They got it. Steve Germain combined with others to make the tackle.
24-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Hilltoppers. They have moved the football well all afternoon, but they have not been able to score a touchdown. Jerry Hunt stopped at the line of scrimmage. The initial hit made by noseman Mike Coviello.
Mike slanted on the play into the hole vacated by the pulling guard, Mark Ford, and got his hands on the ball carrier and tackled him for a loss. 5
seconds to go in this 3rd quarter of play, and that may have been the last play of the 3rd quarter. Official time being kept on the field, and that is it. 3 quarters of play in the books. The score, Summit 3, New Providence nothing. Back with the final 12 minutes to determine the conference champ in just a moment.
How well do you know your parish priest? That's the subject for this week's New Jersey Catholic. My guest is Father Richard Hines, who's the director of the continuing education program for the Archdiocese, as well as the new Ministry to Priests programming. We'll be talking about priests and the parish that you and I are part of here on New Jersey Catholic, Wednesdays at 7 and Fridays at 5. See you then.
Second down for the Summit Hilltoppers. The ball at the 24-yard line of New Providence. Hand off to Duff Badgley, straight up the middle, twisting and turning and getting his way to the 20. This football game for Summit has been played almost entirely from the 50-yard line down.
Since the opening kickoff, when they got extremely good field position with a good run back, it's been downhill for the New Providence as far as field position goes.
Sereno wide to the right side. 3rd and 7 for the Hilltoppers. Badgley getting the call. The hole filled quickly, and he is short. Paradise, Steve Paradise came up to make the tackle. It brings up a 4th down, and about 7 yards to go for a first down. They spot the ball at the 22-yard line.
They lost the timing on that play. It seemed like he slipped when he started to go in to get the handoff. Badgley did, and the blockers had executed their blocks, but they recovered from them.
4th and 7 on the 22. Summit going for it. Brodman throws incomplete. Flag down the play. Flag in the direction of the intended receiver, Mike Serena.
Now they've got the outside halfback in a bind on that when they run that slant. He comes in to follow him, and then Bagley releasing from the backfield down the sideline is going to be free for a home run.
Pass interference called against New Providence. Let's see if we can pick it up on the replay.
All right, it's Askew releases from the backfield. Here we see the wide receiver coming inside on a curl pattern, and Askew going to the outside. The throw comes to the inside receiver, but he's definitely hit before the ball arrives at the area. Think about Askew, though. He was free on the play. A pump fake, and he's gone.
So first down, just outside the 10-yard line for the Hilltoppers. They can actually get a first down at the 1-foot line, so it's first down at the 10. 3-0, Summit leading. Askew gets the call, the pitch out. Askew is bottled up. Initial pursuit by Paradise, and the tackle made by Nick Mansilla.
Actually, that's a big play for Summit, the sweep from the I formation, and New Providence has done a very fine job of taking that play away from them. They haven't made yardage on it all day.
You would think the I formation almost a perfect set with a guy like Askew, who's so quick, and you have to be quick for that tailback to get to the line of scrimmage in that kind of formation.
It gives him time to read daylight on the play, but they're not penetrating. They're just sliding along the line of scrimmage and building a fence.
2nd and 9. Askew to the left side, gets to maybe the 6-yard line. Marta made a hit. Joe Mine was there, and pursuing was Mark Cleese. So now it will be 3rd down and 7 yards to go for a touchdown. 6 3/4 for a first down. Let's watch Askew running to the left.
They're running with the toss again. Lead blocks by the 2 other backs, but they're waiting for him at the line of scrimmage. They're not trying to tackle him for a loss on the play. They're just trying to stop him for no gain.
3rd down and 7 at the 7. Handoff to Jerry Hunt, and he is stopped at the line of scrimmage by Jim D'Arienzo.
Jim came on an inside move that time and slanted down and pinched down real low, had good body position, and could not be blocked. Got underneath the blockers.
So it's now 4th and 6 for a touchdown.
No field goal this time.
Not saying 4th and goal because they can actually get first down just in front of the 1. Howie Anderson, head coach of the Hilltoppers, pacing on the sidelines. They will go for it on 4th and 6. Pitch back to Askew, 5, touchdown!
Time they went with a slot formation to this side of the field, and the two backs who were lead blockers were already out there. They didn't have to run from inside the formation. There's the pitch back to Robert right there, but it occurs real wide, and he's got Ford and Bagley out there ahead of him, and a good key block right there by Sereno on the cornerback leads him into the end zone. Well executed toss sweep on the goal line.
So with 9:02 remaining in the football game, Askew goes in from 6 yards out. It's a 9-0 lead for the Hilltoppers. Bradle in to try to add the point after. It's perfect. So Summit has finally scored a touchdown. They have been moving the football well all afternoon, but they have been unable to come back with 6 points. And the score, Summit 10, New Providence nothing, in a dandy for the Suburban Conference Championship. Let's go back for a moment to the standings in the Suburban Conference to get an idea of how important this football game really is. New Providence, the only undefeated team with a record of 6-0, and Summit right behind at 5-1. If Summit wins today, they will tie for the conference title. If New Providence wins, they will win it outright. But it will be a long uphill battle from here on in for the Pioneers, trailing 10-0 with 9:02 to go in this football game.
Well, Howie Anderson proved there's more than one way to skin a cat. If you can't run the sweep with your blockers coming from inside out, you run the sweep with your blockers already on the outside, and it was very successful for them down there at the goal line.
Floats abound. Thanksgiving Day, everyone enjoying the action. A packed house at Leader Field, well over 6,000 in attendance. Bradle hits a beauty. 8-yard line, Paradise across the 15, across the 20. And Steve returns it up near the 35-yard line. Good field position for Coach Frank Patone's club. And they will have plenty of time to try to move that football, Dick.
That's the best field position they've had all day long when they started a drive. Everything else has been inside their own 20.
So Tom Robertson will lead out the Pioneers, playing today without their big fullback, Mike Romeo, who had amassed over 700 yards rushing on the season, but with a broken bone in his foot, he was sidelined today. From the 34, 1st and 10 Pioneers. Robertson back to pass. In trouble, gets away from Carbone, but then Tamalaika gets him.
Summit's gone to a prevent defense. They're playing four down linemen who are stunning, crisscrossing, and they have 4 linebackers and 3 deep. So the pressure on him here comes inside pressure by Ford, who got around on a stunt. And you'll see a hand grab here, which grabbed the shoulder pad. People were screaming for a face mask, but didn't get it there because it was definitely on the shoulder pad. An excellent job by the referee.
There's Eddie Tamalaika, the 6'3", 195-pound senior, goes both ways and doing a fine job. 2nd down, 17 to go. Robertson rolling to his right, being pursued, throws out of the pocket, incomplete, and it will bring up a 3rd down and 17 yards to go.
If they're going to rush that hard, New Providence better start thinking about screen passes instead of trying to drop back. He's dropping back, but he can't even get his feet set because the pressure is on him. The coverage downfield is excellent right now. He goes to pass one time, can't do it, and here comes Ford from inside out once again. Coverage on the sideline here. The ball's definitely out of bounds.
And the ball just overthrown.
But they got a good combination, good coverage and good pass rush.
7:47 left in the football game. Summit leading 10-0. Hand off to Marta, straight up the middle. Marta getting 8 yards on the play, but it will still be 4th and 9.
Well, they found the weakness in the defense. They were in a long yardage situation and loaded on one side to try and stunt to get the pass rush. But we see Marta read the daylight inside that was left vulnerable, but he's coming back into the strength, into the pursuit, and he's left short.
Marta has really turned out to be a fine running back.
Yes, he's done a nice job today. He filled in an awful lot for Romeo. He doesn't have the breakaway speed, but they haven't been able to get him to the outside except for the one play in the first quarter.
We saw him early in the season, Dick, and he wasn't playing all that much, but from that point on, he has been a big help in that backfield.
That's true, but he did come in some crucial situations for them in the Milburn game, if I remember correctly. He came in and got some big first downs when everybody keyed on Romeo and they give the ball to Marta.
Well, the New Providence Pioneers have been successful in the 70s. There are their records. That undefeated season in 76, the standout. 79 and 75, you see they were 9-2. And going back to the 74 through 70 period, the best season in that stretch in 1972, an 8-1 record. So success has run hand in hand with this New Providence football program. But right now, they are looking at a 4th and 7 and trailing the football game 10-0 to a powerful Summit club, and Tom Robertson goes back in punt formation. Takes a tremendous New Providence bounce, goes by Duff Badgley, and will be down at the 16-yard line. So for the first time in quite a while, Summit will have to move from inside their own 20-yard line. I believe, Dick, this is only the first time, maybe the second time this football game they've had to move inside their own 30.
Right, they've been blessed with good field position all day long. But they've got now to control the football and keep the ball away from New Providence's offense. But don't forget, we mentioned before that they're not a very patient team. They like to put points on the board when they get a hold of the football, and don't be surprised if you see them try the big plays.
1st and 10 for the Hilltoppers, and the handoff straight up the middle to Jerry Hunt. Flags down on the play.
We might have illegal motion on the play.
The defensive unit for New Providence has been on the football field a long time today. I would think that they might be getting tired just a bit.
They're getting tired, but they're also getting tired of being blocked because Summit has come across the line of scrimmage and done a nice job on them offensively.
New Providence must stop Summit here. Hopefully get good field position and try to put some points on the scoreboard. Penalty being marked off by referee Ed Lynch against the Hilltoppers. Procedure is the call. It will be 1st and 15, 6:52 to go in this football game. Summit will be playing Rahway for the North Jersey Section 2 Group 3 state title. The date and time yet to be announced, but they're not thinking about that bowl game yet. Rodman rolling out, in trouble, and he is decked. Back at the 5-yard line, and Jim DiRienzo had him in his grasp and would not let him go.
Well, we mentioned about being impatient. They were going to try some sort of a pass play that time, but the pressure was there so quick you couldn't see the play develop. Here we see in a broken field, the Brodman is tripped up from behind. He had green shirts all around him that time, had no place to hide.
Co-captain DiRienzo has played one well of a football game. Summit now moving for their own 5-yard line. 2nd down at 21. Handoff to Askew. Hit first on the left side by Kenny with some help from Thompson. And it will bring up a long 3rd down situation.
From the I formation, they've been better off with the blast off tackle as they did that time, with Hunt leading the play. Trying to get outside from that formation has been difficult with the slippery footing.
Okay, 3rd and about 16 yards to go. 5:26 remaining in the football game. Summit leading 10-0. Askew gets the call. Askew sweeping the right side and stopped short of a 1st down and possibly, Dick, a touchdown as Steve Gelmine came up to make a big, big tackle.
Well, Duff Bagley had executed a real good block on the outside defensive end. Here we see the blocking, and Askew leads through, and we get the tackle. As you're right, one person to beat that tackle, and he was gone.
But a flag down on the play. It is against Summit. So that whole pickup for naught, and it will still be 3rd down. But Summit will probably be moving from deeper in their own territory. Frank Patone and his staff, Bruce Coltis, Don Carpenter, Victor Bacosi, Arthur Catano, all saying push him back, take the penalty.
Well, it's only a half the distance penalty down there, but it does put them in deep where they have the potential to gain a safety on this play.
And so the ball gets moved back to the 4-yard line. Summit must get to the 26 for a 1st down, so it is 3rd and 22. Sereno wide to the left side of the field.
Sweep with Askew.
Badgley in motion. They go the other way with Badgley. Duff gets a couple of yards and goes down, and on 4th down, Summit will be punting from their own end zone, and New Providence should end up with fine field position. The clock showing 5:14 left in this football game. Summit leading by a score of 10-0.
I was guessing on the play from the formation. It's the play they ran for the touchdown, but they came back the other way with an early start there by Badgley, and they pitched to him.
Old defensive coaches never die. They just keep guessing.
Yeah, that's right. You guess right, you guess wrong. As soon as the motion starts on that play, though, it indicates that it has to be the toss sweep to the other side. There's nothing left to come back to this side.
This is a big snap here. Reardon will be punting from deep in his own end zone. Summit does not want to get caught with a bad snap.
We have a player down on the far side.
Or anything else.
You see that over there? Player down on the far side of the field by the down marker.
I believe it's a Summit player,
yes,
being attended to by assistant coach Bruce DeMayo.
No, on a snap from center like this for a punt in a muddy part of the field, you try to get the ball clean, first of all, and you try to have your center not to lean on the ball to drive it down into the mud so it sticks and wobbles out of his hand. You try to get underneath the ball with his hands to get it up in the air.
The rest of that Summit coaching staff, Jim Dietz, Harold Ahern, and Steve Hadley. Okay, a couple of yards before the end of the end zone is Mike Reardon. And waiting for the football, Gebert at the 35. Big snap here. It's perfect, and the kick is away. It's a beauty. Bounces at the 30, and will finally rolled dead near the 39-yard line.
That is now Summit's ball. An aggressive blocker tried to throw a block, and the ball hit him in the leg, and Summit recovered the ball. There was good pressure on that punt by Mark Cleach, caused the kicker to hurry it. Here we'll see the replay. All right, there's the punt. Good concentration. There's Cleach right there in his face.
So on the fumble recovery, Summit gets the football back, and that is a big one, Dick. It looked like New Providence will be moving from the Summit 39. Instead, Summit has the football, the clock on their side, and a 10-0 lead.
That was a big break for them. Puts them in the driver's seat.
I formation, handoff, Askew. Askew crosses the 40, gets to the 42-yard line before he's stopped by Mark Cleach. Second down, 7 yards to go, 4:39 and counting down. Summit leading by a score of 10-0 on the field goal by Rob Bradle and the 6-yard touchdown run by Robert Askew.
That play was designed to go inside tackle, but the tackle pinched down. Jim DiDorenzo.
Rodman back to pass. Throws incomplete, intended for Mike Serino. Running a little out pattern on the right side of the field, and so it's 3rd and 7. The clock is stopped, more importantly, and very easily New Providence could get the ball back quickly, but the big difference will probably be field position.
Yeah, if they had been able to block that punt and at least put 2 points on the board with it, they've still had an opportunity in this game to put 10 on there with another touchdown and a 2-point extra point, at least a tie.
If New Providence ties, they still win the conference. Summit has to win this football game, however. Askew getting the call. Askew short of the first down. Tripped up before midfield, and now Summit will punt it away.
Quick penetration that time by Jim DiRienzo. Was in the backfield, caused Robert to cut back inside and into the arms of Mark Cleach.
There's your score. 4:02 remaining in the game. Official time taken on the field. 4-minute warning being issued to both benches.
This soft track makes it not only difficult to run, but it also makes it difficult to block, because a defensive player, if he's doing any sort of movement, can get out of your gun sight real easy.
Dropping back deep for New Providence is Steve Gebert, the sophomore. And dropping back in punt formation, Mike Reardon for the Hilltoppers. Perfect snap once again. Reardon gets away, a high punt, bounces at the New Providence 30, and is down at the 27-yard line. So 73 yards from pay dirt. The Pioneers will take over, and they don't have very much time now. 3:35 to put 10 points on the board.
They're going to have to do it all in the air, and Summit will probably go to their prevent 4-4-3 defense, which makes it hard to throw because they've been able to get a good rush with just 4 down linemen.
Charlie White lined up on the right side of the field. Thompson wide left. Double wing formation. Robertson hands off on first down to Marta. Marta has a first down and more. And I think he might have gotten out of bounds up near the 40-yard line.
That was well executed. They ran double slot and ran the toss sweep to the remaining fullback to the short side of the field where the best footing is. Summit has to now sit back and play pass defense, and they're going to have to react and recover up to the run.
First down, New Providence. The ball at their own 43-yard line. Clock stopped at 3 minutes and 20 seconds to go in this football game. White wide right. Liberato in motion left. Inside handoff to Gebert, stacked up at the line of scrimmage and dropped for a loss of a couple of yards on the play. Tackle made by George Miles.
Anytime New Providence can turn the corner and get upfield, they should get as much yardage as possible and then jump out of bounds to try and keep that clock alive. That will go with pass receivers also if they decide to throw the ball.
They're going to have to put it up in the air soon.
That's true. They can figure 30 seconds of play here.
Robertson back to pass. Rolls to his right. He's going to keep the football. Robertson gaining 4 yards on the play, advancing the football to the 45. But now it will be 3rd down and 7 yards to go for a first down. And the clock slowly winding down. We're inside 2:30. We're at 2:24.
A little confusion that time as Robertson turned upfield. The blocker ahead of him thought he was going to pass the ball, looked back to receive it, but then the defender slipped by him and made the tackle on the play.
Clock ticking down. We're inside 2:10. Robertson hands off to Marta. Marta getting maybe a yard on the play, and it brings up 4th down and 6. And this last chance for New Providence if they do not pick up a 1st down. The Pioneers still alive in North Jersey Section 2, Group 2. They will play Madison Borough Tuesday. They only have 4 days to prepare for Madison. And then if they win that football game, they would have to come back and play Saturday or Sunday. So you're talking about a lot of football games real quick. 4th down, Robertson going back in punt formation. He's going to throw it. And he throws incomplete. Play broken up by Mark Haley. And Summit takes over. With 1:17 to go, that could be it right there.
Well, they use an awful lot of time off the clock by running the football, not calling a timeout or not even trying to get to the sidelines with the ball. I'm sure Summit was very happy about it.
So 1 minute, 17 seconds to go in the football game. Summit leading 10-0. And that man, Howie Anderson, looking for victory number 149. Handoff to Askew, bottled up in the backfield.
Jerry Hunt. Oh, excuse me.
Injured player on the field. The hit was made by Pastore. But he is
the one who's shaken up.
He really took a tough hit in that particular play. Summit has had some tradition, but it's been a long time since they've tied or won a conference championship, which they will do if they're victorious today. In 79, you see they were a subpar 4-5, 78, 7-2, 76, a 9-1-1 campaign. But let's go back a little bit further, and that's where the goose eggs come into play. In 73 and 72, 2 back-to-back 9-0 seasons with Willie Wilson, and in 78 and 1, 71 you see 7-1-1. They started off the 80s on the right foot.
It's been a good year for them. They come along with some real good people this year.
2nd down, 11 yards to go. Badgley off the right side, getting maybe 4 or 5 yards. Clock running at 44 seconds and counting down. Summit will improve their record on the season to 9-1, and they will finish 6-1 in the conference. New Providence will finish 6-1 in the conference also. So the two teams will share the Suburban Conference crown.
That's a difference in conference rules, because in the Watchung Conference, if two teams end up with identical records, it's who beat whom on the field of play.
10 seconds and counting down, and that is it. Clock just winding down. A little bit of frustration in the center of the field, but it has been a fine football game. Hard hitting, very clean, and well played.
Yes, it has been. I've been very much impressed. This is the first time I've seen a Thanksgiving game other than the ones I've been involved in, and this was a well-played football game with an awful lot of tradition and an awful lot of heart involved on the part of both teams.
They're the home side of the field, either the Summit side of the field, a happy bunch of people.
I think there was a timeout called to get all the seniors in the last play, if there is any time left.
And that is it. Final score, Summit 10, New Providence nothing. We'll be back with the post-game show in just a moment.
If you have high blood pressure, here are good reasons to stay on your medication.
Do it for her. Do it for him. Do it for your loving wife. If you won't do it for yourself, do it for all the loved ones in your life.
If you have high blood pressure, stay on daily medication. If not for yourself, for them.
Do it for all the loved ones in your life.
Peter Roberts of WOR Radio is host for Your Neighbors. Meet some new friends, Saturday at 5:30.
Summit victorious by the final score of 10-0. Another outstanding Thanksgiving Day football game between New Providence and Summit High School. To my left, Robert Askew, who scored the game's only touchdown in the third quarter on a 6-yard run, and it has to feel good to beat your rival.
Definitely. This feels so good. I don't really know what to say.
The club had a lot of opportunities in the first half, Robert. You were unable to capitalize. Second half, you finally came through with that one score. Tell me a little bit about the play.
Well, it was a pitch to the left, and when I got to the corner, it was just open field. I seen one blocker, he was down, it was just there.
Tell me a little bit about this New Providence football team and the nature of the hitting today, because it looked to be a hard-hitting game.
Definitely a very hard-hitting game. This is one of the most hitting games I felt all year. They're a great team, and I can't say too much more. You know, it's just one team had to win.
And now it's Rawway.
Right.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Okay. Robert Askew, who scored the game's only touchdown. Robert Carbone, what a football game you played all over the field. It has to feel nice.
It feels great. It's one of the best games I've ever played since I played football, and I was just happy as anything to win.
How tough was that New Providence line, and how physical was this football game?
This was probably one of the most physical games I played, and their offensive line is tough, and I think they're going to be real good next year.
Was Summit thinking about only New Providence today, or somewhere in the back of your mind was there that thought about playing Rawway?
Just New Providence. All we want to do is beat New Providence and then advance to Rawway. That's all.
Okay, what's going to happen against Rawway?
We're going to win, of course. We're number one.
Okay, good luck.
Thanks a lot.
Robert Carbone played an outstanding football game today. Coach Howie Anderson, I know it has to feel good. This is a football game that you mentioned in the open you wanted to win. This is the game that means something first, the conference. Then everything else is second nature. How does it feel?
It feels very good, and I think that this was a typical hard-hitting New Providence football game. I think that the field had a little bit to do with the game. We could not, we had a difficult time turning the corner with the glop out in the middle, and we were held by a very good New Providence defense down in close and in the first half, and that really, you can't play good offense and good football if you get on the floor and can't score.
It must have been a frustrating first half for you. You moved the football down near the goal line 3 different times. Twice interception stopped the drive. One time you couldn't push it across. Was there anything different you said to this club at halftime?
Well, we spent some time adjusting on defense. They were using a lot of unbalanced, and we weren't compensating, so we spent some time with that, and then we made up our mind of what plays we were going to have to make go in the second half, and we did. We left some of the things that we had hoped to be able to run because of the footing, and we ran a lot of wide plays into the sideline because that's where the footing was the best.
New Providence impress you?
They certainly did. They are a tough, hard-nosed football team, and Frank Patone, with a group of young kids, has really done a super job.
Okay, now one more game remaining. That's Rawway. Finals of North Jersey Section 2, Group 3. Let's relax for a second and think about Rawway. What can you expect?
Well, I think we can expect a real good football game. I would imagine that they beat Clark today, so that would match up 2 teams that are 9-1. And it'll be a good football game.
I guess it's savor a victory and then back to work tomorrow. I hope you enjoy your Thanksgiving Day game because we enjoyed watching your club play.
We will certainly enjoy it a great deal.
Howie Anderson, the head coach of the Summit Hilltoppers.